applications, Matthew and Robinson, all the way in Cincinnati, and you're tuning into the Black Fire Radio, and you're listening to yes, my thing, why? Andrew Robinson, here, and brother there, reaching out for all the massive on the African continent, and you're tuning into the Black Good Show with your host, none other than Joby, from Monday to Friday. Stay tuned. Andrew Robinson and no respect and justice for all. Be on my
Okay. Wanna butcher? Yeah. French boy, Missouri. Flame International. Yeah.
Yes, welcome, Karibuni Sana. Good morning, good afternoon to wherever you are listening to me from. And of course, welcome to another beautiful episode of the Wednesday Lockdown Session right here on the Black Fire Network radio station, media of the 21st century. And of course, welcome back on this amazing conversation. It is exactly 42 minutes to past 12 p.m. right here in the 254. And of course, I want to give a special shout out to everyone who shall be catching this on a replay, those who shall be literally joining and tuning in with me. right here on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, and of course also on the radio station, on Rumble, and on TikTok. Karibu sana. Na chiki tukona selector Alti. Is it Alfie? Selector Alfie, karibu sana. Hi to you too. I also see Bullets. Thank you so much for tapping the screen, and of course, welcome to today's conversation. Hope you guys' day is coming out great. Hope you're having an amazing time with your family. In case you are at work, literally, you know, to go pamoja. Shout out to Nebuchadnezzar. I remember we were having a very amazing conversation yesterday, and it is literally crazy. Where right now, if you're not thinking of how hard you literally need to work to become your own boss, I don't know, man, because this is the time you're literally supposed to be thinking about if I'm going to work or I'm going to open the business today or I'm just going to decide to rest. Being your own boss, literally. The boss is the entrepreneur right now. I don't want to Christmas vizuri. But anyway, karibuni sana once again. And of course, my name is Joby, to our amazing first-time listeners. I hope you guys are doing amazing. Of course, looking forward to stick till the end of the show, because today it is the Wednesday lockdown session. I'll be sharing a couple of videos today. Our focus shall be going majorly on the African, literally the faults is that we've been told by these African leaders. That's how I'll literally simply call it the faults of these African heads of state, because there's so much manifestation that has been done by these presidents. There's so much great speeches, especially this year, that have been conducted. And of course, due to the video I'll be sharing, this video or other, most of the statements from this video is among that I've been discussing when we have someone like Skedi, someone like Nana Akufo-Addo, someone like all these puppet leaders, that Tinubu, who their country is facing much worse kind of crisis and situation, and where we've failed as a continent to unite and have one African state and being able to literally solve our own problems. I'll be sharing a video which showcases, you remember that UN and the United National Assembly, and of course this meeting where we had most of the president talking about, reparations, talking about what should and should not happen. That is among our big topics. So karibuni sana. I'll be also highlighting what is happening in Nigeria, because remember on 24th, rather during the weekend, we had most of the people who are injured by some unknown bandits. And I remember yesterday, I think I had Katie mention the name of the bandits. I can't remember the name. But of course, this takes me back to the article I was reading last week on one of the shows of the Africa Today show, where we saw the U.S. operation, they call it Operation in Africa, where they have 36 of them, the names that they have been given, and this also comes with this bandit. So karibuni sana. I hope you guys are looking forward to literally also give your points, other sentiments regarding what we shall be discussing right here today. That was Moto by the one and only Racy, featuring French Boy, if I'm not wrong. And of course, hope you guys bumped into that and jumped into that. I'll be getting back to the music one more time. This is Taylor, The Truth Out There, and of course, hope you guys get to enjoy this. I'll be coming back with a quote of the day and much more. Just don't want me if I didn't have it all. You could have had it with me, but instead you gave it up. Yes, and we are literally 4 days away towards the end of the year. 2023 has been massive, amazing, intense, full of lessons, full of literally opportunities, full of a lot. I don't know how it has been for you, but I think we've put it down right here on most of the shows of our experiences of how 2023 has been. But 2024 for me, I'm wishing you nothing but just peace of mind, money, success, and I hope you're ready to receive all this. I hear most of the people saying that, we are literally in the age of Aquarius right now. It's all about revealing, it's all about receiving a lot that is literally just spanned around all this age of Aquarius. So I hope you're literally willing to receive and also willing to also see reveals, because we've seen a lot on the internet what is literally happening. So I'm wishing you guys nothing but just a happy new year. I know it's not yet there, but happy new year in advance. We know, or something that we literally need to question. We're not sure how. I'm not questioning the governor, okay? But are we sure that justice is literally going to prevail? Yesterday, I was talking about where for so long Africa we've been lectured of how we should move, how we should act, how we should behave, how we should eat, how we should cook, everything. That is what Africa literally is all under. It's all about dictatorship. But we do tend to look at the people dictating to us, like I was talking about it yesterday. Those who are giving us stats of how poor we are, how incapable we are. Where did they come from? Go back to the history again. Go back to our history. Our history is the most spoken about more than these white people. But story for another day. My question is, are we sure that justice is going to be brought forth for these Nigerian people? Because this is not the first time, the second time, the third time. I think this is literally the 100th time that Nigeria is on the board, especially when it comes to matters of insecurity. But I see that in Nigeria, a day after a series of attacks on villages claimed over 100 lives, Plateau State's Governor Caleb, I won't read the second name, said that the perpetrators will be brought to justice. He expressed dismay that the season meant for peace, laughter, and joy in the communities of the state is marred by the actions of evildoers. He said, and I quote this, "It is sad that within the last 2 days, we have lost innocent people as a result of incessant attacks and in parts of Mangu and Bokos local government areas. As a matter of fact, my own intelligence is putting it at not less than 50 people. Let me say enough is enough. We cannot continue this senseless, stupid, unprovoked attacks. It is totally uncalled for." That is the governor's speech that he made, I think, yesterday. And they go ahead and say that the attacks, which started in the Bokos area, spilled in the neighboring Bakin Ladi, where 30 people were found dead, according to the local chairman, Danjuma. That is his name. Basically, I won't read the whole article, but my question and why I'm literally discussing about this is, are we sure Nigerian people are going to face justice? Because for so long, like I'm saying, it's not the first time, the second time we've seen that Nigeria has been under attack, or we have bandits coming from nowhere and attacking village people, especially at this particular time, where people are supposed to be enjoying and celebrating with their family. It is so sad to see that in parts of Africa, there are those who are literally mourning because there is lack of peace. Due to who? Because this is not the first time we've seen Africa facing all this. And the reason why I'm talking about this, I want to share this video very quickly. Let me pull the article down. What we had a speech from Professor Lumumba. I'm not a fan of him anymore, but he made a very amazing speech connecting to what is happening in Haiti. Because this situation is a copy and paste, where our nations are being raided by bandits who are funded by the United States through our own leaders, but nobody talks about it. It's a coincidence that today just, some parts of Nigeria just woke up and the people are dead. It's a coincidence, they say. But let me share this very quickly as I continue to explain my thoughts regarding this. As you let me know, do you think surely and purely Nigeria and the local people of Bakin Ladi, Bokos, and all these areas that were affected during the weekend, are you sure they are going to face justice? Because it is true, enough is enough. And it is the people who are facing all this literally suffering. It is just the people. It is never these governors. These people have bulletproof cars, for crying out loud, taking millions, billions to protect their lives and anything that might come across them. But when it comes to the civilians, it's always a speech. Enough is enough. We must stop this. We must stop these senseless, stupid, and provoked attacks. We should never want to find the root of it by first letting go of the people who keep on preaching to us. Why is Nigeria so poor? The biggest oil production in Africa, it is poor. Make that make sense. Always taking dictatorship left, right, and center. Right now, Tinubu is so much focused about Niger and how they are literally focusing on, because this is true democracy. You don't know what the mainstream media is telling us. This is a coup. This is true democracy that has been installed in Niger. But instead of Tinubu fixing up what has been literally damaging the country, including so much sewages, you see cases of diphtheria always rising every single day in Nigeria. Cholera, because of lack of clean water. Typhoid, and all those kind of diseases. Every time there's a pandemic in the African continent, every African country has a pandemic. Tinubu is so much focused about sanctioning cutting electricity in Niger, but won't bother fix what is happening in the country. Immediately this guy actually got into presidency, we had a strike of the nurses and doctors because of not being paid well. When we had the previous president of Nigeria, who is Buhari, when he left, he said, actually, I've left this country in the best state that it has ever been. I want you to take your time, when you have your own time, my fellow listeners or my audience, those who are with me on TikTok and also on YouTube, go on Google, go on Google or YouTube, just search for Nigeria. The situation today, it is crazy. Sewage is all over. People are not eating, sitting clean. They can even barely get to school. And then you ask yourself why we have Nigerians as scammers. I'm not going to keep on sitting on poverty and demonstrating while the government is not doing anything. This is why you see Africans literally taking advantage of each other because there's lack of equality due to so many people who are literally selfish. But karibu sana John Mosquito, I see you. Big up to everyone with me on TikTok. Shout out to Daudi Simba. Shout out to Sam Cab. Shout out to John Mosquito again. And shout out to Are You Gay? Why call yourself that though? Are you gay? Let me know. Are you gay? And shout out to Daudi. He says that we can't. I agree with you, but again, something needs to be done. Sam Cab says that rise up youth of Africa and do something. Exactly. We must realize something called unity, African people. We need to realize unity. Leave alone these opposition leaders. This is also something that's on the line of what I'm going to talk about. The opposition leaders always, something Katie said yesterday, and which is actually very true. These people have been placed here as a distraction. Not only are they paid opponents to keep us distracted, but they are literally a big distraction in the continent. Always giving and selling us hope. Perfect example, and I'm going to say Raila Odinga. And the next one I'm going to share the video is Julius Malema. Always rooting so hard for people to be free, to be given what they want. But when it comes to literally changing reality, why is it so impossible? Why can't we overthrow the government? Why can't we have a coup? Because I hear some presidents say that these countries are not meant for coups. Who said, if things are not working accordingly, why can't we overthrow you? Why can't we impeach you? There was a time we were reading about the rules and the laws of literally impeaching a president right here in the 254. It is so hard, baby. It is so hard. It is so. And this one you see every time these leaders are going to get into the seat, they're going to change the judges, everyone who's been in the previous government, because they want everything to work in their favor. You dare not do it. You're fired. Thank you so much, Sam Cab, for following the host. And I also see Daudi Simba says, what about Kenya? Personally, being honest, and with everything, the knowledge I have right now, being a youth right here in Africa, I've come to understand that it is all the same. The only three countries we have right now, it is Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali. The rest of us, we still beggars, like I called us yesterday, because that's the truth. Look at what our leaders are doing. Oh, I just went to China to borrow some money. For what? Okay, fine. It's true. We do need to develop. But what is it that we've done with these funds? That's the question. And we need answers. Because at the end of the day, it's us paying the heavy, high taxes, which you don't see where it literally implicates. It doesn't apply anywhere. But let me share this very quickly. This is Professor Lumumba. I think majority of you are very aware of them. They call him a Pan-Africanist scholar and a lawyer, okay? A Pan-Africanist scholar. I also wonder with his massive influence, by which I've come to understand he has no power, you know. In Africa, for you to have people listening to you, you must move with corruption, money. It's all about corruption, handouts, you know. If you don't go the way the system has been literally kept, I'm sorry, but your voice doesn't make a change, and nobody is ready to listen to you. But they call him a Pan-Africanist scholar, lawyer, Professor Lumumba. He shared his views with the Pan-Africanist stream. This is a video from the African stream, and on the announced deployment of Kenya corps to Haiti, he rated as a humanitarian Pan-African initiative. He says the fact that it is happening at Washington behest completely undermines it, as the U.S. is one of the main destabilizing forces of the island. I mean, where's the lie? Why do we have our police officers being deployed to Haiti? Do we even have the facts and truth of what started this gang raiding in Haiti? We as Kenyans, we as Africans, do we understand what our fellow Black people are facing and going through? Or is it because due to lack of history and miseducation, which is so much happening in the continent, we can barely even understand a thing? Shout out to everyone on TikTok. Karibuni sana wacheki kwa wingi. Can you tap the screen? Shout out to Sam. Shout out to Kat. Shout out to everyone who's still with me. And yeah, I'll be going through the comments. What is it? Because I really want to get it. Let me share this very quickly.
To Louverture created what is now Haiti through that revolution, the French were never happy. And it is said that they actually vowed that Haiti would never function. See the Dominican Republic in the neighborhood, which has been.
Trust me, this is what they're trying to do in DRC Congo. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is what they're trying to do in DRC Congo. You see, they're trying to install another puppet, and apparently, I'm not sure who's leading, but I heard Katie say yesterday it is Tsikedi. I'm surprised as well. I'm surprised. Tsikedi is the one leading. I'm really surprised. Why not any other opponent but just Tsikedi? Which was very well explained. Check out yesterday on the African Diary if you missed out on our YouTube channel. This is what they are doing to DRC Congo. They are destabilizing this country to the farthest they can. And you know what I really said? I was saying last week, was it last week or this week, or I can't remember, but I said this. I think what keeps on surprising them is the unending wealth in Africa. Because you keep on digging, destroying the lands, displacing people. But it's never ending. Why? Because we're still the richest people in the continent. This is the richest continent all over the globe. How that makes sense. And we'll get to that, because did I share a video yesterday where it was talking about French being the beggars, not Africans? It's never the way they see it. It is the other way around. You know?
Allowed to thrive, and see how Haiti has been sabotaged over the years. And we forget, between 1905, I think, I may be wrong about the date, the Americans actually occupied Haiti.
Yeah, 1978.
Yes.
Always raiding.
They actually occupied and were controlling Haiti. The Haiti that we have is Haiti that has been created to fail. When Jean-Bertrand Aristide...
I mean, talk about also Libya. This is what they did to Libya, right? When I was talking about Libya yesterday, giving the fun fact of when we had Gaddafi as the ruler of Libya, where we had people living freely, free education, free funds for those newlyweds. Everything was free. And what was the cost of oil? $0.14. That is literally what the Middle East, Saudi Arabia, Dubai, Qatar, that's what for stealing. They killed, assassinated Gaddafi for trying to do what is right for African people and the people.
Took over power, and he was making efforts to stabilize Haiti. They removed him. So when you want to go to Haiti, you've got to understand the dynamics and the circumstances in Haiti. I listened to a friend of mine is from Haiti, lives in Miami, said, I hear your people want to come to Haiti. They'll know a slaughter like they have never known. In other words, my view, if you want to deal with Haiti and you are playing the Pan-African card, I want that decision to come from Addis Ababa. I want that decision to be tabled in Addis Ababa, and Addis Ababa, in the presence of African heads of states, make a resolution.
I'm sorry, Professor Lumumba, but I think you know better, baby. Whereby, if you're talking about Addis Ababa being the center or the main founder of African Union, you saying, huh? That's what I think where you're heading, huh? That's why I think you're trying to say this is not an organization that was ever created to stand nor work for Africa. Why is it that it was created? Who created the African Union? Let's start by there. Who came up with this organization called the African Union? Was it us involved? Because I do believe actually we the people, we the majority that have the voice, we are supposed to be serviced by these leaders, we're supposed to get to vote for an African Union. But apparently, I came and I found the African Union has been existing since when? Let me check that. Since when has African Union been in existence? Since 2002, but let me read that. They're saying that the African Union was officially launched. It was launched in 2002 in Durban, South Africa, following a decision in September 1999 by its presider of the OAU to create new continental organization to build on its work. But who are on the table? Was it African leaders on the table discussing how they want this to work on their favor? Or did we have still the same lecturers lecturing how Africa should literally be controlled? Because that's what it is. We're controlled, not independent.
They give it to their ministers for foreign affairs and ministers for defense, and then we have a donation of men and women with boots from African countries. Then you are selling to me the Pan-African card. But if you are telling Kenyans and the Americans are saying, we don't want to put our men and women, we don't want boots on the ground, but we are sending you like we send sheep unto the slaughter, and then we'll give you money, and if you die, your sons and parents will get money, then I don't support it. And I'm very happy with what our courts have done. I hope that
our courts did also, I'm sorry, correct you, because I think this is a video maybe from quite some time back. Our courts, of course, they were opposing the motion, but still, due to the money, because the president had already taken the money. Remember that and keep that in the mind. Ruto had already taken the money, so there was no way this decision was going to be changed. These papers were already signed that the deployment of the police officers in Haiti was going to happen. But the biggest question again, and revolving back to what is happening now in Nigeria, because what is happening in Haiti, Nigeria, DRC, Congo, some parts of maybe Uganda, because I see in Uganda we have some evolving war that is coming up. There's some attacks happening, which I won't talk about today. My focus is on what is happening right now in Nigeria, in Haiti. Copy and paste literally. Where do these bandits come from? And why is it that Africa cannot solve the problems when it comes to these terrorism attacks? We just need the US, Antonio Guterres. We need Blinken to make a decision for us. Where will Africa stand and say, hey, I'm a man enough, I'm an African black, to be respected enough to make a decision? This takes me back to what I was discussing of where we've lost our dignity again as Africans. And this actually starts from these so-called still same presidents. Dignity was lost from the moment they agreed signing papers. That's when they literally realized these Africans they don't care about their people. There's too much tribalism. This is where it came from. And it's an open ground because I see majority of you on TikTok. I see majority of you on YouTube. Let me know what you guys think. This is crazy. We never had terrorism in Africa. Where did terrorism come from? We were living peacefully. We were literally just minding our business in terms of civilization. Have you seen the ancient history of civilization in Egypt? I mean, when did you even have time with all that massive? Nobody today can come up with that type of architecture. They have tried, they failed. But that is the truth of the matter. We were so focused into civilization, and perfect example is Egypt. When did we have time for war? Well, we have to critically think and come up with massive type of mathematical architecture. Huh? We have a lot to literally question ourselves, African people. We have a long way to go. We have a long way of learning. If you literally allow yourself, though, to learn and teach your generation, because again, this is a discussion we were having with HR, Danny Talks, and a bunch of friends we had during Christmas time, of how impressive, it is kind of impressive, trust me. These people came with a lot of intelligence of knowing if they capture the children, this mentality of slavery, an enslaved mind will never end. And I mean, this is what they keep on doing with the system of education. This is why we need Afrocentric schools. Shout out to Kenya for having one, but it's not doing any better. Sorry. You can't be teaching your children Kikuyu and Luo and at the same time teaching them Kiswahili and English, and you're trying to break what? European Eurocentric type of education? No. You still continue with the chain of tribalism, which we're trying to say we need to break. It's going to take time, trust me. We're counting about, let's say, 20 years to come, even maybe 50. I don't know, man. But it's going to take time to change Africa, the people, and to have that generation which is no longer going to take nonsense anymore. It will have to start with our young children, our sisters, those we can educate. Akienda shule anarudi home, mwambie yo, that history you've been taught in school is not true. It's not true. It's crazy, man. But I'd love to hear what are your thoughts regarding this for those who are just tuning in. But moving on to the opposition, which are again the main cause of all the things that are literally happening in Africa, where there's never a change. Always mumble talking, making people demonstrate left, right, and center. Wake up every day. I remember in Kenya this year, it was kind of historic seeing South Africa, Kenya, which other country? We had the South Africa, Kenya, I think also Nigeria, if I'm not wrong. We had actually 4 countries at that time demonstrating because of the situations happening in the continent. One, the cost of living being super crazy. Super crazy. But speaking on based on where I am, I know it was actually from March till July where we had our opposition telling us, you know what, not only were elections stolen, which was their main motion number 1. It's never the people's, it's never what people are literally interested on. They use this as a trait to make you think, hey, we're really concerned because 1, elections were stolen because we really wanted to make a change for you guys. But because this has failed, we have to demonstrate about it. I mean, can't you see? And I don't know, man. Let me tell you, politics is just something. This is another dictionary and another just a book of its own. Politics is another book of its own, trust me. Just read it. I don't know. No. Shout out to the white man. Shout out to the white man. It's how they're able to convince people, make them believe we're really routing for you and what you really need. It's that ideology. It literally, how it gets into your mind and it works so well and people act upon it or towards it. Not against it. Because I've never seen where an opposition comes out and says, I want us to go out and demonstrate about the cost of living. And where people will come out and say, yo, we've had enough of this. It's always been here go, here come, next year. Always you telling us we should go against the current leadership. But what have you done to make a change for us? You have the manning power here. We're following you because you're the manning power. So why won't you act so? Oh, because there's no power at all. It's about money. Let me share Julius Malema's speech very, very quickly as we move on.
In this day and era.
This is a 2016 video which he was giving a speech in one of the universities. I think that is Oxford in the United Kingdom. This was on 10th of January. He exposed French colonial tax several African states pay because they are required to place their reserves in French banks and use the CFA francs as their currency. We're talking about where we get a lot of loans again. Go back to what I was talking about. We pay a lot of high taxes. But the question is, where does this money apply? Yes, fine, baby. Go to China, take the money. We need development, we understand. We need proper roads. But what type of roads do we have? My fellow Kenyans, talk about Expressway Road, which is the latest launched and actually ranked. It was ranked among the best transportation something. I think I can remember that. Something. It was ranked among the best transportation highway, something like that. It was ranked. Still, the same country was named among the best city you can literally tour. That is the 254. I mean, yes, our country looks beautiful. Some parts of it really look nice. But there's a bigger mess of what's behind just looking nice, you know? There's a big mess. The initiative or the let me say the bill or the motion behind destroying Kibera slums and building amazing houses. This has been something I've had from ages. Nothing has changed. All right, I'm back. Apologies for those who are with me on a StreamYard. Let me share my screen. As I share, I hope you guys were literally on this page. I hope the internet went out like very... Crazy wind. Shout out to Maya, Karibu Sana. Shout out to Thomas. Okay. Apologies, man. My StreamYard people were suffering together. So let me share this again as we continue.
Say it is acceptable, it is in the interest.
No, I'm saying it's a strong wind, very, very strong.
Of Africa.
It's acting up, kid.
It's not. We want Africans to have control over their own currency. Want Africans to have control over their own economy and what constitutes their own economy.
Mm-hmm. That is true. And this is why they don't want Africa to have its own currency. Why they don't want Africa to become a state. The United States of Africa. It's just let's have Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Burundi, Rwanda, all these divisions. And they want to do more. They want to continue doing more harm, more division. These are called upon, especially us, the young people. These are called upon the youth. Let me tell you, today we see maybe our normal fighters who are still fighting for land. We think these are joke. Trust me, next it's gonna be us, and we're gonna lack somewhere to sit on because neo-colonialism is taking over. It is taking over. It is for us and upon us to literally take care of and be protective of our continent, because the white man is not joking. And if we're not ready for the war, they are. If we're not ready for the war, they came ready. They have always and will always be ready. It's upon us, African people. We need to drop disunity. We need to be united. We need to understand we're facing the same problems equally, not as a Kikuyu, not because your president is not because your president comes from your tribe, not because your governor is an Igbo. No. When it comes to the economical situation, the cost of living, like right now, the rest of the world and everywhere we're dealing with, it's us. And I'm sorry to say, no matter where we are as African, as Black people, it's always us on the bottom. It's always us on the bottom. Always us. It is super, super crazy. But upon this video, I want to go through the comments of what people were saying on this particular video over here. And I saw that one of them said that all African countries need to understand that Africa has no friend. That is true. That's something I said. Shout out to Jaden. He goes by the name Jaden. He said that all African countries need to understand that Africa has no friends. Stop looking for help outside, but you need to look for help within yourself as Africa. Shout out to this guy. That is some intelligence over there. I saw also another one says that can something be done to punish these white countries? That is shout out to LA Global, actually. That is a very big friend of mine. Shout out to LA. I see him on the comment. And he went ahead and said, why can't something be done to punish all these white countries? Something will be done if only we form unity. That is how things can change. If only we literally, like just what Jaden on this other previous comment I've read, we need to realize we have no friends. But sorry to say, due to miseducation, our sisters, our brothers, you want to go looking for white women for opportunities while you don't know you literally bring in your oppressor, showing them the way. And the next minute, you know what? It's your land that's going to be taken away from you. And due to this corrupt state of Africa that we have, it's always the white man being number one, no matter where they are. They have oppressed you. It is always them number one. Trust me. A Chinese man has offended a Black man. No, this issue shall be dealt with in China, not in Kenya, not in Nigeria. Or a woman was raped in Libya or Liberia. No, that does not matter. It is a white man. What about Black people? God damn. Shout out to Ele for asking that. Something will be done, but only if we were united. I also see another one says, Malema the Gucci Guerrilla bought and paid. For the UK, this is a comment by, I can't read the name, but he says, Malema the Gucci Guerrilla. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, Guerrilla or Gorilla, don't know what it meant. Bought and paid for by the UK and supported by Bell Pottinger. I don't know who's that. The MI5 company, and he follows the UDA. Usually he's calling him a bootlick. I think that is what he means, pardon my French. And I also see another one who goes by the name Justa says that colonial taxes need to be stopped immediately, and it is by force and violence, so be it. And that's what Africans need to realize. You think these people are here, oh, Muzungu is my friend, Chinese are my... They are not, baby. They ain't. Facts be told, these people are ready for war. Africans, you're not. You're too busy praying. You're too busy, especially right now. I don't want to tell or literally express how many amounts of families right now so much devoted into the church. So bad. Oh, you know, and I'm sorry if you think I'm against religion, I know the truth. It's okay, you're trying to find yours through Jesus. Everyone knows the truth their own way. But I'm sorry, Jesus, we've been waiting for Jesus since ages. He's not coming yet. I mean, can't he see all these problems we're facing? Isn't he willing to make a change? Which kind of God lets you suffer? That's the question as well. Which God leaves you in distress? You're just always wondering. You're always just... Come on. I don't know, but we need to wake up. We need to wake up. Everything I'm looking at things at a very big angle right now. And Africa, we are at stake. Like I said yesterday, if you allow homosexuality, you're literally saying yes to pedophilia, which we have it amongst our own leaders. Now you want to accept Chinese, Indians coming investing in your country. Next thing is our land. And we won't have it. We've seen our freedom fighters fighting for it. Next, it's gonna be us. We're gonna be begging. Oh, where can I get to buy a land? You're begging in your own continent to buy a land. We're seeing it right now. How many houses are being demolished, and we have the so-called powerful people within the African countries grabbing lands and building whatever they want, whatever is gonna benefit them. And this is for years. Because either they get to build schools, which of course you're paying school fees, it's not for free. So this money goes back to this same person who not only stole your land, but also made school fees expensive for you. Funny, right? Very funny. But on the last video that I want to share today, which brought me to this particular question, is of the amazing speeches they keep on making. Because it all takes us back to, especially this year, I've seen nothing but just massive, impressive speeches. From Nana Akufo-Addo again, from Kagame, from Ruto, oh, Museveni. My friend, my dearest favorite puppet. He's always a funny one, yeah? It is crazy. So this is a video I'm sharing by this lady. She talks or other questions now about the lies and the manifestos told by the African heads of state, and none of them have been done. We've heard all about them being talked about. Charming words, excellent, candies, captivating in delivery. Very well delivered. But do they deliver whatever they are saying? Do they go beyond their speeches? No. It turns out the only thing they bring to the table is neo-colonialism and loans. Let me share this.
We hear some great speeches from African leaders who finally seem ready to stand up to the West and defend Africa's interests. And more recently, it seems like prominent African leaders are even making statements about African unity. But wait, we shouldn't get...
African unity starts by where you break the border. Let me not hear any of this. Guy, yo, if only I had power, huh? But I should not even hear any of these leaders saying or speaking or uttering anything called about African unity while you still have the borders. No, you can't talk about African unity while you still have the borders. You cannot. You shouldn't even dare address the issue. Just shut up. Keep quiet, please. We've seen Uhuru Kenyatta, a very amazing speech. Oh, you know, these borders are not created by you. You need to get rid of them. Very excellent, baby. But what have you done to make a change? Nothing. Did you try when you were in power because you claimed you had power? And literally your family itself, leave alone even you, your family has power. We know you own this country. People say so. Apparently, you're not the owners. We have the owners of the country. So why is it so hard for you to just make a change while your father was? I mean, this is why you're going, it goes back to where we're still controlled. Stop celebrating independence, my fellow African people. Stop attending these events. Don't show up at these stadiums and let's see what these presidents have to tell us when it comes to independence. Why are you still taking loans while we're independent? Why do we need oil from foreign countries while we have oil in Africa? Why can't I use Nigeria? Oh, Kenya recently did end its deal with Uganda. And the next thing we saw is Uganda was partnering with an Arabic country. What is this nonsense? At this point, I understand why Africans should not get access of guns. Because let me tell you, the amount of misusement that's going to be around here with lack of education, oh, you're not ready. We already see it where we have our own people being used to go in local villages in like Nigeria, Burkina Faso, Niger, where especially people are trying to just live peacefully, and of course they know there's something on the ground, they go terrorizing all of them. All of them. We see it, how our people are easily bought because of something that has been very well executed and fueled poverty porn of Africa.
Get too carried away. What leaders say and do can be two different things. As these next two examples will show you what I mean. First up, we have Ghanaian President Nana Akufo-Addo. What? You may wonder how he's on my list if he says things like this.
It is time to acknowledge openly that much of Europe and the United States have been built from the vast wealth
I find these leaders funny.
harvested from the sweat, tears, blood, and horrors of the transatlantic slave trade and the centuries of colonial exploitation.
Yes, and after this, he came out and said they need reparations. You remember? I reported that after this speech at the United National Assembly, which nobody was paying attention to, because we saw when Tinubu was talking, these white people are just there laughing, not even paying attention. But when it comes to our African leaders, have you seen them? Very punctual, shoes on point, suits on point, paying attention like a normal fuck. Like, yes, white daddy, what are you saying? Yeah? Yes, white daddy. Okay. Am I gonna get the check? What about the monthly allowance? Oh, fine. Oh, okay. I'm gonna do it. I mean, I'm saving myself from my rural village. I grew up on a poverty pond. I mean, what you talking about? And we know those reparations are not gonna go to the people because we saw in Kenya, our very own was given money, but apparently, and they know, the British government gave money for reparations, compensation, same thing, right? Same thing, but they've never gotten the funds till to date. They're still begging. And these are old people. Oh my.
Well,
Don't you care about the elderly?
it turns out he says lots of things. Like, remember when he used to go on and on about Ghana beyond aid?
So well, that's all Ghana beyond aid is.
Ghana beyond aid. Ghana today is the number one. Ghana beyond aid. Ghana is the most indebted country right now in Africa. But they want to go beyond aid. Okay.
Is that we need to depend on ourselves. We need to find the policies and resources that will enable us to stand on our own.
Resources that you won't even allow and even build manufacturing industries to allow your people benefit from. It is the biggest, largest cocoa production, biggest gold production. But no, children cannot even go to school. Women cannot even get proper hospitality. Not even free hospitality. Free education. Well, they say they want to depend on our economy, on our resources to grow our economy. Shut up.
Let's just say that promise didn't turn out so well.
Mm-hmm.
He also stabbed Burkina Faso and Mali in the back
Of course,
at the US Africa Leaders Summit.
of course, because this is the true democratically elected, not selected.
Today, Russian mercenaries are on our northern border. Burkina Faso has now entered into an arrangement.
So many new followers. Thank you to everyone who's following us. I'm glad you guys are enjoying the conversation. I see your comments. I'm gonna go through.
To go along with Mali in employing the Wagner forces there. To what extent we can have you as a partner in confronting these threats?
Too bad Akufo-Addo doesn't have
Was Anthony Blinken, asking him, how can we pay you to become a traitor of Burkina Faso and Mali? Because apparently they have just decided to say, hi, we no longer want to be dictated. That's what Burkina Faso and Mali did, right? What Kenya, Nigeria, Uganda, especially Uganda, Rwanda, what they won't be able to do, we are done as men. Because we're talking from the perspective and point of where these are African men. Not these weaklings we have. These are weaklings. And I'm sorry to say they are. Because no one in their right state of mind is gonna be oppressed continuously, and you don't demand a change? Oh, please.
Have the same fear of the US military as he does for the Russians. Next on our list, we have the great William Ruto, President of Kenya. Remember this?
He was given a round of applause for what? I think he was named what? He was acknowledged for something. Oh, god damn, I pulled the video down. He was acknowledged for something.
Nowadays, we hear some great speeches from African leaders who finally seem ready to stand up to the West and defend Africa's interests. And more recently, it seems like prominent African leaders are even making statements about African unity. But wait, we shouldn't get too carried away. What leaders say and do can be two different things. As these next two examples will show you what I mean. First up, we have Ghanaian President Nana Akufo-Addo.
I'm so sorry. Let me go through the comments. I'm so sorry. Let me go through the comments. Big up to everyone who's followed the host. I really appreciate. Let me go back. God damn, so many. All right. I see so many comments. I see Kid says that their propaganda is powerful, Joby. Exactly. Very powerful. I think you're talking on the opposition leaders. And I also see we got John Mosquito. Okay. You're saying that I know, Joby. I'm just okay. Thank you. I also see DJ Stereo says fact. That is on the matters of still the opposition. And also see Kid says exactly 100%. Shout out to Jose. Shout out to Fire for following the host. John Mosquito says that Africa, we gotta do better. That is on fact. And you're also saying, Kid, that he is controlled opposition. The student also says that please read books by Dr. Henry Clark and Dr. Ben. I'm looking for books to read, but I wish I can get physical books. I don't want to read online books. I think online is a lot of distraction because once you see notifications popping, you want to see who's texting, who's looking for me. So yeah, I'll really look for that. If I can get the physical books. I also see user 24 unasema they can't plan for the future generations. They can't. We can't depend on these presidents, especially right now. To plan for who? You must be joking. And also see Kid says exactly 100%, Joby. What kind of God is this? I mean, I'm always praying. I'm dedicated. I'm dedicated. They say, especially if you dedicate your life to Jesus, everything goes yay. Yeah? Not nay, but yay. So I'm wondering which kind of God is this? Don't want to see me prosper. Oh, the kingdom. Happy are the poor because the kingdom is in heaven. The kingdom of whatever is in heaven. Come on, be better. I want it right here. I also see Kid says, no, not Kid, but Fire. Says God is for the poor, you have to stand up. That is true. And also, I don't know what you mean. God is for the poor, you have to stand up. Okay, I agree with you. And also, John Mosquito says a God that doesn't exist, a fairy tale God. I mean, we never even questioned any of this. That's what I was asking yesterday. We need to question the existence, the true history of these white people. It is for so long African people on the table, always our history being debated, how we have evolved from monkeys to what? We were bending, now we're standing, we were hairy. We are the most hairy people on this planet. I mean, look at me. I mean, we are the most, even, they are women. Because, come on, be better. Shout out to DJ Stereo for following us. I appreciate. And also, see, Kid says, have you seen that TikTok video showing you the worst president in Africa? No, I'll check it out. I've not logged on TikTok for quite a while, so I always have the app. I just don't check. Only if I'm checking what's happening in terms of work. But I also see you're saying that because they don't own the country, they are only puppets. That's true. And I also see Kid says exactly 100%. John Mosquito says one repairs, the other compensates. I also see you adding that the education should definitely be free. They should end school fees. Not today, not until we claim for it, because you're the ones literally suffering, paying the highest school fees. And I also see you saying that where are you from? That is Raphael. Shout out to you. I'm from Africa. Where are you from? Thank you so much for tuning in. User says, okay, I did interact with the comments. Hope you are now okay. And I also see Kid says, coffee Ruto Museveni. Who's Coffee? Keith. Or Coffee. No, Kofu Ado. Not Coffee. You know, Coffee is another artist in Congo. DRC Congo. Kofi Olomide. But yes, I think you meant Nana Akufo-Addo, Ruto Museveni, Ramaphosa, Tinubu, and a few others who have voted the worst African presidents and Kagame. And just saying, do you already have books? You need Kindle. I don't want to do online. I'm so sorry, Keith. But it's a lot of distraction with the phone, you know. I can't. I don't think I want to do online reading. I want to do physical reading. So I'd literally hustle so hard. 2024, I'm on it. So yeah, hustle gets books referred or books I literally need. I also see user 24 says evolution is not bad. It actually centers us from the original man. No, baby. We were the first people to exist here. We were the first people to exist here. Story for another day. Come back, follow us as well. You'll find much of this discussion on this particular channel. Okay? But evolution is not true what you were told in history. This is why I'm saying we need Afrocentric type of schools, not Eurocentric. And we can't have Afrocentric with the tribalism nonsense still going on teaching children, or you can still speak your mother tongue. No, we need to erase this mother tongue whole thing. We need to erase it. We should literally be moving in a generation of where our children, if it's not English, which is for tourism purposes, I always underline on that, Swahili should be the #1 goal. A must, not a choice. A must. Which school? I think it was South Africa that made Swahili mandatory in their subjects. I remember that was last year but one. And I think we also had, Ethiopia looking forward to introducing Swahili also in their classes, which I think most of the Ethiopians do know Swahili a little bit, Somalis and all that. Yeah, so let me finish up this one as I wind up. My time is up.
What? You may wonder how he's on my list if he says things like this.
Shout out to everyone on YouTube. There's so many of you. Kindly do hit that like button, okay? Kindly. It's a request.
It is time to acknowledge openly that much of Europe and the United States have been built from the vast wealth harvested.
Hi, Jesse. I don't know what you mean. No, what is no unto no? What? Kindly explain what you are disagreeing with. It's a free, it's an open air discussion. So feel free to also let me know what you think about what I'm talking about. It's okay if you disagree with me. Everyone has their own opinion, and that's why this is the Black Hot Fire Network.
From the sweat, tears, blood, and horrors of the transatlantic slave trade and the centuries of colonial exploitation.
Well, it turns out he says lots of things. Like, remember when he used to go on and on about Ghana beyond aid?
So well, that's all Ghana beyond aid is that we need to depend on ourselves. We need to find the policies and resources that will enable us to stand on our own feet.
We can't do mother languages, Jesse. Do you know why? I want you to look at right now, especially right now, when elections happened, right? Okay, I want you to look at the angle of which counties were celebrating the most. I don't know where you're listening to me from, but I'm right here in the 254. I don't know when elections were announced. We had, especially the Kalenjins, because we have a Kalenjin president. And this actually been surfaced online, and I shared a video from this TikTok lady who is in the United States, and yet dumb. Sorry, okay? Because you can't go there without the tribalistic mindset while you can't even understand the state of racism. You are dumb. But this lady says, oh, for so long, we've waited for Kalenjin to take over since, Moi, we waited for Kalenjins. They said Kalenjins won't become leaders. Now look at our very own. I want you to look at now when it comes to the state of economic crisis. Are we facing economic crisis where Kalenjins are benefiting, or is it the whole country facing economic crisis? That aside, 2007 election, what conspired? How many people lost their lives, homes, lands, children, family members because of tribalism? If you're not Kikuyu, you can't cross here. If you're not Luo, you're not crossing here. This is serious. This happened. We have videos. So, mother languages, hell no. Swahili first. That's on me. That's my type of Afrocentric school that I want to build in Africa. That is what I need, where everyone can understand each other. Everyone. Nikisema sasa unaelewa nasema nini? Like if I say hi, you know what I'm trying to say. If it's English, again, I repeat, only for tourism purposes, where we're going to make a lot of money out of these white people. Getting in this continent should be a problem. So to root of saying that now Kenya is a visa-free country. What are you talking about? How many of us can travel fine? Kenya is a visa-free country. Am I able to travel to other countries visa-free? You are literally allowing tourism in the country, saying this is a visa-free country. The next minute you're asking Akina Atur brothers, where are they coming from? Come on. If you know history, go back deeper.
Just say that promise didn't turn out so well. He also stabbed Burkina Faso and Mali in the back at the US-Africa Leaders Summit.
Today, Russian mercenaries are on our northern border. Burkina Faso has now entered into an arrangement to go along with Mali in employing the Wagner forces there. To what extent we can have you as a partner in confronting these threats?
Too bad Akufo-Addo doesn't have the same fear of the US military as he does for the Russians. Next on our list, we have the great William Ruto, President of Kenya. Remember this?
Why are we bringing dollars in the middle of our trade?
This is when the dollar was collapsing, Abi.
Ruto preaches de-dollarization and yet takes on more and more.
We're allowed to talk freely because now the dollar is collapsing.
IMF US dollar debt.
Now that's an amazing speech you should listen to.
The lenders' policies have increased the cost of living, led to economic hardships and mass protests. In response, police violence has become a major issue in Kenya. The Armed Conflict Location and Event Data Project reported Kenyan police used excessive force between January and September 2023, during which the toll of fatalities was up to 175. And this comes from the man who agreed to send Kenyan police to Haiti on behalf of the United States.
This mission is a fundamental intervention to provide the necessary conditions for Haiti to consolidate its development.
I'm complimented on Haiti again. I have spoken about it and what Professor Lumumba has said. So, African people, we need to do research and listen to what your president, as a leader, what he's saying. And go back to history facts of what started the war in those countries our people are being sent to. Again.
And governance.
Are you sure? Haitians and Kenyans would both beg to differ. Police violence doesn't seem like a necessary step towards development or unity. And last but certainly not least, we have neo-colonialist in chief Paul Kagame, president of Rwanda. He's known for his excellent speeches, such as this one.
People have come to take it for granted.
The video I shared, and I loved what he said because he really did make a great speech on this one. Trust me.
That Africa is poor and therefore it must remain as such, which is not true because Africa is actually very rich.
I mean, you know, because you've been exploiting for the last 25 years your neighboring country.
Both in terms of natural resources.
But what does Kagame mean when he says Africa is rich in natural resources? Maybe you've seen something online recently about the movement to #FreeCongo or about the genocide ongoing in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Mm-hmm. Paul Kagame is accused by many of funding and fueling the M23 rebel group responsible for mass...
He's not funding. He's just told what to tell his people to do, but he's not the one giving the money. So.
Death and destruction in Congo. It's led to the smuggling of billions of dollars worth of Congolese resources across the Rwandan side of the border. And who is profiting from war in this part of Africa, known for being one of the most resource-rich regions of the globe? Apple is benefiting. Tesla is benefiting. Microsoft is benefiting. The ruling classes of the United States and Western Europe are benefiting. Is this what Kagame meant when he said that Africa is not poor? So in the end, things are not all what they seem. People say one thing, but their policies point to something else. But don't despair. All across this continent, I feel the African masses are waking up. People can tell what true leadership looks like. They are joining organizations and coming together to fight for an Africa that is unified and liberated from imperialism and capitalism. And you can be a part of it too.
Yep, you can be a part of it too. That is basically my topic of today, or rather my conversations of today. Basically, as I wind up, unity is the way to go. Unity. I'm not supporting no tribal. I'm seeing your comment. I'm not supporting no tribalistic, Afrocentric type of education. That is my school. My school. Okay? I see Kate says exactly 100%, Joby. Common sense. Who is the most hairy? I mean, and I also see you saying that turn off your notification when you read the book. That is basically telling me to turn off the Wi-Fi completely. You're not gonna find me. You won't find me online, because when I say it's off, it's off. Like during the weekend, I've not touched my phone. Most of the people who are texting me, like I'm on airplane mode. My phone was just on an airplane mode. Okay, so I'll try, but I need my physical books. That works for me actually way better. Because in high school, I used to get dragged out of classes all the time because I'm always reading, not focusing on what the teacher is saying, But I also see kids says, of course, Joby, you need a universal language for all African, like Swahili, but you can keep your mother language as a backup, but not for business and uniting Africa. Personally, I don't need no mother tongue language, okay? I've really grown up, like I say, with my name especially. I'm tired of always being questioned, which tribe are you from? Which tribe are you from? Because nobody gets to figure out. Let it remain Afrocentric. And I also see you saying exactly 100%. That is on Kagame, not him funding the situation, but being funded. And of course, we see why his net worth is so high, because he's really doing an amazing job for the last 25 years. But you have the nerve of saying how Africa is rich, while you won't allow your fellow neighbors to express and explore the wealth they have in their continent. Instead, like the lady has said, it is always the West benefiting, but no Africans. We get 15% of it, they get 85% of it, which is so sad. And at the end of the day, still this 15%, you pay heavy taxes. Make that make sense, which is so sad. You get 15% out of all the resources your people have been used, exploited to get. And still at the end of the day, you have to pay taxes out of the 15%. And this is why you go back, like, I think it was Lumumba explained it, you're still gonna go back asking and demanding for loans over and over and over again. Because it's not enough. It is crazy. They didn't share that one. It is super crazy. But much love, family. I'm coming towards the end of the show. Shout out to you, Sister Michelle. I see you also on YouTube. Karibu Sana. Good morning to you too, but good afternoon from my end. But apparently, I'm coming towards the end of the show today. It's been amazing. Personally, I've enjoyed it. Doing it here together with you and the massive people who have been with me right here on TikTok. I've had 281 viewers right here with me, 7 new followers. I appreciate you. And I hope you guys keep on turning up and, of course, following the Black of Fire Network radio station, media of the 21st century, where the truth is, literally, because you won't hear this anywhere else, okay? If you're expecting Kanzedena or as she called the Indian, those ones. If you're expecting them to give you this truth on Citizen TV, and TV is kind of doing great nowadays, KTN, keep on waiting. But much love. See you guys later on the Tubonge show. I see that Kamle shall not be in today, so probably it might be the captain of the show. We'll see what we're going to be discussing. So, asanteni sana. And of course, have an amazing, beautiful, beautiful day on your end. Thank you for the gift, Sam. I'm glad you've enjoyed the conversation, and to everyone who's been with us.